Okay, hi Sagittarius. This is Terra Lumination with a little mini report about the big Jupiter and Scorpio transit starting over here at the end of 2017, going to the end of 2018-ish. So we're trying to do an awful lot with a very little here. This is not an astrology channel, as you know, but I'm trying to help you integrate everything into one simple little tarot reading that'll work for you guys. So if you think of Jupiter, focus on these themes here, okay? The great benefic, expansion, travel, optimism and healing, wisdom and higher learning, higher consciousness, growth, expansion, excuse me, all classic, themes, keywords of Jupiter energy. Fun, okay? Now, take that energy and pump that through the sign of Scorpio, for example, which is all about these themes and keywords here. So if you want to, you can pause the video, take a look, read through all of it, because all of these are operational expressions of scorpionic energy. So imagine this form of fuel and energy being pumped through this type of lens, okay? So it's very, very powerful, okay? A big theme would be power, and my personal favorite would be transformational healing in this aspect of life in your chart. So where does it happen for you, Sagittarius? So for you, Sagittarius, if this is you, Sagittarius, here on the horizon, you can also watch, of course, for your sun, moon, and rising, but right now this is for Sagittarius. This is happening in your 12th house. Scorpio is represented in your 12th house here. So Jupiter will be traveling through here for the next year or so. And of course, the 12th house, well, that's the one that almost nobody likes to talk about. So if you want to, watch an astrology channel and study everything you can about the 12th house. But for this little report, let's just say, let's keep it very simple. It can be the house of karma coming to roost, so to speak. In other words, the result of all your decisions in life up to that moment in time, and how it really does add up, even if you are not aware of it, or even if you're in denial. In other words, you could absolutely feel convinced you have a right to be who you are and do what you do, and yet you end up in prison. So there you go. Or you have, it's also the house of self-undoing, where we don't even know how we are the cause of our own misery, how we create our own sickness, that kind of energy. It's also the house of almost the opposite. It's the house of universal love, how love is out there and available to everyone. And it's about divine connection to the great beyond, where if this is your life journey, it's all coming to an understanding and an end here, where it comes to rest and everything becomes exactly as it should be, because it can't be any other way. And just like a plant dies and it turns into fertilizer for the next plant that shoots up, and then you start all over again as a new Aries. So with the 12th house, it helps to understand and allow for, past lives, present life, and future lifetimes, and things like karma, things like allowing for how we create our own destiny through our own decisions. It's the house of writers, artists, musicians, dreamers, visionaries, but of course also the opposite of that, which would be the delusionals, the people who are suffering a lot of mental and emotional and spiritual anxiety, people who are absolutely lost and derelict and out on the fringes. All of that is over here. It can be a very hard house to understand or live with. So let's move on. We're going to do a little reading for you. It's going to look like this. So at the end of the reading, I'm going to clear everything so you can take time to look at this, look at this, look at this, and integrate it all into one thing. Do all the pause and rewinds as necessary. So for now, with a bunch of pre-shuffled cards, we're going to do a little mini reading. And the whole idea is like we do on Sunday Night Live. It's just to give you like a snapshot of what's going on here and how are we going to make the best of this, okay? We're just adding an extra card because it is Jupiter and it's larger than life, and we're looking at the energy of opportunity. So you can see here, I'll show you in a moment. Here we go. This is how the spread is going to look. Your situation, your opportunity, your challenge, and how you can handle it and make the best of it. Okay? Cards were already pre-shuffled, but we're going to go to the last second so that you're a witness. No flyers, no jumpers, no oracles, no reversals. Just simple storytelling, okay? So this is your shuffle, and this is your cut. Okay, let's see what happens, all right, Sag? So this would be your situation. This would be your opportunity now through this period. This would be the challenges living through this period. And this is how you can handle it, hopefully, and make the best of it. We're all going to look at this card at the moment. It's what I think of as the prevailing conditions that, let's say, surround you. Think of it as the weather and how you can make the best of it or not. Your choice. So with the Queen of Swords here, it's an indication that this is a really, really important time to, let's say, separate yourself, cut yourself away from anything that is really not wholesome or that's not working for you. Okay, Sagittarius? But do it in a very magnanimous, noble, respectful way. You don't have to blow people off. It's doing it by maintaining your dignity, your self-respect, and no longer tolerating wishy-washy, mushy, unacceptable, untrue, bogus, fake energies in that 12th house part of your life. In other words, you cannot afford to be contaminated by other people's bogus energy anymore. It's very, very important to put a stop to all that and start to reclaim what works for you in that part of your life. Maybe there's a lot of self-healing that can be done. Maybe there's a lot of tapping into greater imagination, visionary themes, getting ideas for a new life, new whatever it is, unfolding. But you do that by stopping the interference, stopping all the toxic interference from anything and everyone in your surroundings, so that you can claim all this wonderful, bountiful energy for yourself, which would be the most loving thing to do anyway. What's the situation here? Okay, maybe it's the end of an era. Well, it is, with Jupiter and Scorpio, it's a 12-year cycle. And maybe, Sagittarius, you are becoming very aware that, wow, you've just lived through a massive life cycle where it is truly officially over. Okay? This is like the end of endings here. This is the burial of everything that no longer needs to be anymore. And you just wave it all goodbye. You have a good wake and celebrate everything that was awesome and weep about everything that was tragic. And then you move on and start all over again. And that's what's going on here. This is your chance, your opportunity. This is your situation now. It's the end of an era of life. And it's the beginning of a new beginning. And you've got all the support of all the energies of the universe around you, all the elements of earth, air, fire, and water, all of it. Everything out there is ultimately working for you and your benefit. It's just a question of understanding that and grabbing it so that in the Neptunian world of the 12th house, you don't become deluded or terrified that it really is the end of the end. Instead, you see it as an amazing new vista, landscape unfolding in front of you. So what is the opportunity exactly? Wow. Okay, well, with the star here for you, Sagittarius, the opportunity may be an awareness of, like, let's just say, like, the magnificence that comes with having, like being exposed to the great beyond, being exposed, let's say, to the energy of heaven, having a real profound awareness of those super high vibrational frequencies that people can only describe as things like inspiration or hope or dreams or wishes of soul things to work properly in our lives, with relationships, with our day-to-day activities in our world, our community, everything like that. And the opportunity here is to start absolutely from scratch, taking everything that you've learned and known about being Sagittarius up till now and starting like a whole brand new life cycle so that in 2018, at the end of 2018, 2019, you're really going to be almost like a completely brand new person. But it means you have to live through this year of tremendous transformation. It's going to take a lot of focus, and it could be a very intense experience. It might take you into the depths and darkness where you've never dared to go before. And hopefully, it will turn into some form of transformational healing from the ground up, where it is your opportunity to heal from the inside and kind of like give birth to a new version of yourself. Let the old one die away here, okay? Let the new one give birth to itself. Allow yourself to be reborn, so to speak, okay? And in so doing, it allows you to like walk around as though you can look in the mirror and think like, wow, I had no idea that these possibilities actually existed. It might have been a concept in a movie. It might have been loose conversation while you were out of your head, hanging out with friends and family and your buddies and whatever. But now you've got a real live opportunity to almost like tap into your soul's wishes and kind of integrate it in a way that you might not have all the full understanding of what you're doing, why you're doing it, or how you're doing it, or when you're doing it, or where you're doing it, or who you're doing it with. It's almost that doesn't matter. The opportunity here is just to kind of tune into the divine awareness that's out there, divine guidance, divine inspiration, and let that guide you. That's very, very much to do with literally tapping into the 12th house energy here and allowing yourself to be guided and protected, inspired, so that the visions can come to you and through you and resonate out through you, almost like you are a fountain of inspiration. Okay? So go back and look at these wonderful benefic energies here. Allow that fuel to move through your 12th house, where on your spiritual journey, your spiritual evolution, you might go through some very convulsive transformations and what might feel like a very deep soul healing experience. But ultimately, it's all about your transformational healing so that you can come out the other side in 2019, okay? It's kind of beautiful, kind of magnificent, all right? Which would suit you anyway, Sagittarius, because that's kind of your nature. Now, what's the challenge with all of this? Okay, my feeling here is understanding your true worth, your let's say your tangible worth, because this is almost like this energy here is almost so big, and you're being encouraged to see with the two queens here, like the Queen of Truth, absolute truth, and the Queen of Benevolence here. It's really, really important to understand that, yes, you really do have the opportunity and the right to, let's say, tap into your Sagittarian, Jupiterian gifts and rise and go to that really highest level of inspiration where you give yourself permission to tap into your biggest ambitions and dreams and wishes. Start all over again, of course. Bring all your pre-existing, like say, toolkit of life with you, but start all over again. But the challenge, of course, here is that it's understanding that this is actually possible. It really, really, really is possible. It might be a long slog because the Queen of Pentacles doesn't get here just overnight. She very much understands the energy of having, let's just say, what real abundance means, which means it's usually about, like the Queen of Pentacles has so much wealth and so much abundance at her disposal. One of her big challenges is to find anyone and anywhere or situations or opportunities that are worthy of receiving all of that. And so as much as you might have, let's say, so much to offer, it's a question of the environment where they would be appreciated and understood, because you might be coming into your new, more expanded, more bountiful version of yourself in a very optimistic way. that it could almost like make others doubt you to the point where they don't understand that you actually really do have that much to offer, and you do want to share that and make like your benevolence, your bounty, your gifts shareable with others. And you want to do that in a way that like is in alignment with what you might call, let's say, spiritual, what's the word? Spiritual integrity. Okay, so it's your new self, by going through this big transformation, deep soul transformational stuff, perhaps deep soul healing. You actually become like a source of value to others. It might be very hard to understand, where you don't understand your true value, because it's like it's starting again from scratch, so new on this new Jupiter cycle, and it's starting coming out of the 12th house. But you will feel it in 2019, where this transit, as disorienting as it might be, like going into the dark night of the soul, but coming out again, rebirthing, it could be an amazing experience where you really do finally get to grasp hold of your true talents back here down in the three-dimensional world, as opposed to way up there in the clouds of spirit and divinity and the great beyond. Okay? But you can do it. You can do it, Sagittarius. Don't ever doubt your self-worth. Don't ever doubt how awesome and valuable you are, okay? Because you are. It's just that you're going to have to go through this rebirthing process. And it might be a little weird, disorienting, as you let go of what doesn't work and you grasp onto what does, what's going forward. But you're not going to let any of that stop you. You're not going to let any fear of what's changing or fear of growing and expanding. You're not going to let that stop you, because frankly, you're good at it and you should be doing that anyway. That's your kind of natural state of being. So it's very important, of course, to move forward with very, very deep integrity. Like, you can't go over the top with this, because there's a lot of power here. There's a lot of resources, gifts and talents here that are being reformatted, coming into being for the new Sagittarius unfolding. And the way to handle that and make the best of it is, of course, run with it, go with it, but be very, very, very careful how it is executed, how you express and radiate this newfound good fortune, so that like you don't get too carried away with it. Like when you get those first senses of how awesome this is, you don't like overdo it or exploit it or sploosh it all over the place and mess it up for yourself and everybody else, okay? So just be very guarded with your words, what you say, how you say it, who you say it to, when you say it, where you say it, and all of that stuff. So you don't kind of get yourself in trouble and end up undermining yourself while you live through this 12th house phase, okay? Because you could be quite vulnerable, okay? That's all I'm suggesting. So if you have to watch some astrology videos somewhere else, go ahead and do it. I'll just pull this up for a second, have a look. Pause the tape. Integrate all that. Here's your little reading. Here's the circumstantial energy surrounding you. Make the best of it. Okay? Thank you so much, Sag. Make the best of this. Bye-bye. Have a good transit. Bye.